Watergate, the scandal that shook America and reshaped its democracy. The Watergate Scandal, one of the most significant political events in American history, began as a seemingly minor break-in and eventually led to the resignation of President Richard Nixon. This scandal not only exposed the extent of political corruption but also profoundly impacted American politics and public trust in government. Here is a comprehensive exploration of the Watergate scandal, delving into its origins, key events, and long-lasting implications. Origins and context. The Watergate scandal can be traced back to the highly contentious political atmosphere of the early 1970s. Richard Nixon, a Republican, was elected president in 1968 and re-elected in 1972. His administration was marked by significant achievements, such as the opening of diplomatic relations with China and détente with the Soviet Union. However, Nixon's tenure was also characterized by a deep-seated paranoia about political opponents and a willingness to engage in unethical and illegal activities to secure political advantage. This paranoia was embodied by the creation of the Plumbers, a secret unit tasked with stopping or responding to the leak of classified information. This unit was responsible for several illegal activities, including the break-in at the Democratic National Committee, DNC, headquarters at the Watergate office complex in Washington, D.C., the break-in and initial cover-up. On June 17, 1972, 5 men were arrested for breaking into the DNC headquarters at the Watergate complex. They were caught attempting to wiretap phones and steal documents. Initially, this incident received little attention, with the break-in dismissed as a third-rate burglary. However, 2 journalists from The Washington Post, Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, began to investigate the story more deeply. Woodward and Bernstein's investigation, aided by an anonymous informant known as Deep Throat, later revealed to be FBI Associate Director Mark Felt, uncovered a complex web of political espionage, sabotage, and cover-up. Their reporting revealed that the break-in was not an isolated incident but part of a broader campaign by the Nixon administration to undermine its political opponents. The Senate Watergate Committee and the tapes. As more details emerged, pressure mounted for a formal investigation. In 1973, the Senate established the Select Committee on Presidential Campaign Activities, commonly known as the Senate Watergate Committee. Chaired by Senator Sam Ervin, the committee held televised hearings that captivated the nation. Testimonies from key figures, including former White House counsel John Dean, revealed the extent of the administration's involvement in illegal activities and the subsequent cover-up. A pivotal moment in the investigation came when it was revealed that Nixon had installed a secret recording system in the Oval Office. These tapes could potentially provide concrete evidence of the president's involvement in the scandal. Nixon initially refused to release the tapes, citing executive privilege, but eventually, the Supreme Court ruled in United States v. Nixon, 1974, that he had to turn them over. The "smoking gun" tape and Nixon's resignation. The release of the tapes was a turning point in the Watergate scandal. One tape, in particular, recorded a conversation between Nixon and his chief of staff, H.R. Haldeman, on June 23, 1972. In this conversation, Nixon discussed using the CIA to obstruct the FBI's investigation into the break-in. This tape, known as the "smoking gun" tape, provided undeniable evidence of Nixon's involvement in the cover-up. Facing imminent impeachment, Nixon announced his resignation on August 8, 1974. The next day, Vice President Gerald Ford was sworn in as president. In a controversial move, Ford later granted Nixon a full pardon for any crimes he might have committed while in office, a decision that sparked widespread debate and criticism. Implications and legacy. The Watergate scandal had profound and lasting effects on American politics and society. It led to increased skepticism and cynicism towards political leaders and the government. The scandal also prompted a series of legislative and institutional reforms aimed at increasing transparency and accountability in government. Notable among these were the War Powers Act, which sought to limit the president's ability to unilaterally engage in military action, and amendments to the Freedom of Information Act, which expanded public access to government documents. Watergate also had a significant impact on journalism. The investigative reporting by Woodward and Bernstein set a new standard for the press's role in holding the powerful accountable. Their work demonstrated the importance of a free and independent press in a democratic society. Personal reflections. The Watergate scandal, though a historical event, resonates with lessons and reflections that remain relevant today. I recall my grandfather, a staunch Nixon supporter, expressing a profound sense of betrayal when the full extent of the scandal was revealed. For him, and many Americans, Watergate shattered the illusion of infallible leadership and underscored the importance of vigilance and accountability in a democracy. My journey into understanding Watergate began in high school when I watched the film, All the President's Men, based on Woodward and Bernstein's book. The film sparked a curiosity that led me to delve deeper into the history and details of the scandal. What struck me most was the audacity of the abuses of power and the meticulous efforts to cover them up. It was a stark reminder of how power can corrupt and the critical role of checks and balances in preventing such abuses. The broader impact on governance and ethics. The Watergate scandal not only exposed the dark underbelly of political maneuvering but also prompted a re-evaluation of ethical standards in public office. In the aftermath, Congress enacted several laws aimed at curbing executive power and enhancing ethical conduct. The Ethics in Government Act of 1978, for example, required financial disclosure by high-ranking government officials and created the Office of Government Ethics. Moreover, the scandal highlighted the necessity of an independent judiciary capable of resisting political pressure. The Supreme Court's decision in United States v. Nixon reinforced the principle that not even the president is above the law. This case has been cited in numerous legal arguments and decisions concerning executive privilege and accountability. Watergate's influence on pop culture. Watergate's impact extended beyond politics and journalism. It also permeated popular culture. Numerous books, movies, and television series have been produced about the scandal, each offering a different perspective on the events and their significance. All the President's Men, both the book and the movie, remain seminal works that capture the essence of investigative journalism. The term Watergate has become synonymous with political scandal, with the suffix "gate" now commonly used to describe various controversies. This linguistic legacy underscores the scandal's deep imprint on the American consciousness. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to support this channel. Please share across social media platforms to reach a wider audience. Contemporary parallels and reflections. In contemporary times, the lessons of Watergate continue to resonate, particularly during moments of political turmoil and allegations of misconduct. Comparing modern political scandals to Watergate can provide valuable insights into how far the nation has come in terms of transparency and accountability, as well as how much further it still needs to go. For instance, the investigations into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election drew numerous comparisons to Watergate. Both involved accusations of abuse of power and obstruction of justice, and both underscored the critical role of investigative journalism and the judicial system in upholding democratic principles. The Watergate scandal was a watershed moment in American history, revealing the depths of political corruption and leading to significant changes in governance and public perception. It underscored the importance of accountability, transparency, and the rule of law in a democratic society. As we reflect on Watergate, it serves as a reminder of the need for vigilance in protecting democratic institutions and ensuring that those in power are held accountable for their actions. The scandal's legacy continues to shape American politics, journalism, and culture, reminding us that the quest for truth and justice is an ongoing journey. As new challenges and controversies arise, the lessons of Watergate remain ever relevant, guiding us toward a more transparent and accountable government. Long-term impact of the Watergate scandal on American politics and society. The Watergate scandal left an indelible mark on American politics and society, reshaping the relationship between the public, the press, and the government. Here are some of the key long-term impacts. 1. Increased public skepticism and cynicism. Watergate profoundly eroded public trust in government. Many Americans became more skeptical and cynical about political leaders and institutions, fearing that similar abuses of power could occur again. 2. Strengthened role of the media. The scandal underscored the critical role of investigative journalism in holding power accountable. Journalists like Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein became symbols of the press's watchdog role, inspiring a generation of reporters to pursue investigative journalism. 3. Enhanced transparency and accountability. Watergate led to a greater emphasis on transparency and accountability in government operations. The scandal highlighted the need for checks and balances to prevent the abuse of power. 4. Partisan politics. The scandal contributed to increasing partisan polarization. Republicans and Democrats became more distrustful of each other, leading to an environment where political cooperation became more challenging. 5. Reform and legislation. The Watergate scandal prompted significant legislative and institutional reforms aimed at preventing similar abuses of power in the future. Key legislative and institutional reforms resulting from the Watergate scandal. In response to the Watergate scandal, Congress enacted several key reforms to enhance governmental accountability and transparency. 1. Ethics in Government Act of 1978. This act was designed to promote ethical conduct among government officials. It required high-ranking officials to disclose their financial interests and created the Office of Government Ethics to oversee compliance. 2. Federal Election Campaign Act Amendments, 1974. These amendments aimed to curb money influence in politics by limiting campaign contributions and expenditures. They also established the Federal Election Commission, FEC, to enforce campaign finance laws. 3. Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, Amendments, 1974. These amendments strengthened the original FOIA by making it easier for the public to access government documents, thus promoting greater transparency. 4. War Powers Act of 1973. Although not directly related to Watergate, this act was part of a broader push to limit executive power. It sought to restrict the president's ability to deploy military forces without congressional approval. 5. Privacy Act of 1974. This act aimed to protect individuals' personal information held by government agencies, ensuring that such data was not misused or disclosed without consent. 6. Independent Counsel Law. The Ethics in Government Act also included provisions for the appointment of independent counsel to investigate and prosecute government officials for misconduct, ensuring that such investigations would be conducted without political interference. Public reaction to President Gerald Ford's decision to pardon Richard Nixon. President Gerald Ford's decision to pardon Richard Nixon on September 8, 1974, was met with widespread public outcry and controversy. The pardon effectively granted Nixon immunity from prosecution for any crimes he might have committed while in office. The public reaction was mixed and often intensely negative. 1. Anger and disappointment. Many Americans were outraged by the pardon, viewing it as a subversion of justice. They believed that Nixon should have been held accountable for his actions and that the pardon allowed him to escape punishment. 2. Political backlash. Ford's approval ratings plummeted following the pardon. Many viewed the decision as a political maneuver that undermined his credibility and integrity. The backlash likely contributed to his defeat in the 1976 presidential election. 3. Support for closure. Some people supported Ford's decision, arguing that the pardon was necessary to help the country move forward and heal from the scandal. They believed that prolonged legal proceedings against Nixon would have further divided the nation. 4. Historical debate. Over time, historians and political analysts have debated the merits of Ford's decision. Some argue that it was a pragmatic move to restore stability, while others contend that it set a dangerous precedent for presidential accountability. Personal reflections on Ford's decision. The controversy surrounding Ford's pardon of Nixon remains a poignant example of the difficult decisions leaders must sometimes make. When I first learned about the pardon in a high school history class, I recall feeling a sense of injustice, thinking that Nixon had escaped accountability. However, as I delved deeper into the historical context and Ford's reasoning, I began to appreciate the complexity of the situation. Ford's decision was undoubtedly controversial and had significant political repercussions. Yet, it also highlighted the challenges of governance and the delicate balance between justice and national interest. Reflecting on this decision reminds us that leadership often involves making unpopular choices for the perceived greater good, even at great personal and political costs. The Watergate scandal was a pivotal event in American history that exposed political corruption and led to significant changes in governance and public perception. Its long-term impacts, including increased public skepticism, strengthened media oversight, and crucial legislative reforms, continue to shape American politics and society. President Ford's decision to pardon Nixon remains one of the most debated aspects of the scandal, illustrating the complex interplay between justice, politics, and national healing. As we reflect on Watergate, it serves as a powerful reminder of the need for vigilance, accountability, and transparency in safeguarding democratic principles. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to our channel for more self-improvement videos. Comment below to tell us how useful you found this video. Remember to share on various social media platforms to reach a wider audience. Click the notification bell to get notified anytime we post a new video. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.